This is section 7.1. It's on segments, angles, and inequalities. Here's an example of two segments. This one is definitely longer than this one. So the length of segment TU is less than the length of segment VW. You can write it like this, but that's a whole lot of stuff to write. There's a quicker, more mathematical way to write it, and it looks like this. These two letters, remember, mean the length of segment TU, and these two letters mean length of segment VW. You always point at the smaller of the two quantities. So this is red. The distance from T to U is less than the distance from V to W. You can compare angles as well. Clearly, angle J is bigger than angle K. So you can write the measure of angle J is greater than the measure of angle K. Or you could write it the mathematical way, and that's what we have to practice doing. The measure of angle J is greater than the measure of angle K. Always point at the smaller of the two things. So I'm pointing towards the K. So those two statements are called inequalities because they contain the symbol less than or greater than. You can write inequalities to compare measures since the measures are real numbers. Postulate 7.1 is the comparison property. For any two real numbers, A and B, exactly one of the following statements is true. Either the two things are equal or one of them is bigger than the other. For example, A is less than B, or A is greater than B. Here's an example. We're going to compare the angle measures. Use the symbols. We're either using a less than, an equal to, or a greater than. That's our comparison property. So we need to find the measure of angle MAU. Here's M, here's A, here's U. That angle is 119 degrees. So I'll just write that number in there. Measure of angle MAC is this angle. It's 122. These are clearly not the same. So you're either putting this in the space or you're putting this in the space. Remember, point at the smaller of the two values. So this is how this is read. The measure of angle MAU is less than the measure of angle MAC. Now, in these slides, this gets a little bit confusing because remember how we make an angle mark. It looks like a less than sign with a little arc through it. If we don't put the little arcs through it, then it looks like it's a less than sign the whole way through, and then it gets really tough to read. Number 2, measure of angle CAI. That's 79. Measure of angle UAI. That's this one. It's a combination of 21 and 19. 21 and 19 together gives you 40. The measure of angle CAI is greater than the measure of angle UAI. Point at the smaller of the two. Number 3, measure of angle UAS. That's 21 degrees. Measure of angle SAI. It's 19 degrees. Point at the smaller of the two. So the measure of angle UAS is greater than the measure of angle SAI. Number 4, measure of angle CAM. That's 122. Compare that with the measure of angle CAU. That's a combination of 3 little angles. 21 and 19, remember that makes 40, plus 79. So 40 plus 79 gives you 119. Point at the smaller of the two. Last one, measure of angle UAM. That's 119. Compare that with the measure of angle UAC. We just figured that one out. Angle CAU and angle UAC, it's the same measure. They're same angle, so 119. These two things are equal.